Hello, my name is Dylan Brown, and I'm presenting here with my partner, Oleg Bagaev. We're Group 3. Without any further ado, let's get into the presentation. When doing this project, we focused on 3 distinct countries to get a better understanding of the impacts of economic freedom. Namely, these countries were the United States, the Russian Federation, and Venezuela. By looking at these 3 countries, the group was able to gain a deeper understanding of how economic freedom can impact the well-being of citizens. To start off our discussion of the 3 different nations, I'll first be talking about the United States. Based on the information that we collected, the group concluded that the United States, from an economic perspective, can be deemed to possess free markets. The group came to this conclusion because it found that the United States has markets which are, for the most part, unfettered by restrictive policies, overbearing regulations, or other barriers to entry which would otherwise keep the market from being free. Now we can look to a few key points to gain a deeper understanding of America's financial and economic standing in the international community. Based on information collected from the World Bank, the United States, as of 2017, has a GDP of roughly 19.39 trillion US dollars. Additionally, the United States has an annual growth rate of its GDP of approximately 2.3%. Also, according to the most recent Corruption Perceptions Index from Transparency International, the United States ranked in 16th place, meaning that it's one of the least corrupt nations in the world, although well behind many other developed nations. It should also be noted that below we've included a chart from the World Bank which compares the GDPs of the 3 countries that we've analyzed. Furthermore, in addition to the economic freedom rankings from the Fraser Institute and Heritage Foundation of 6th and 18th respectively, which collectively indicate that the United States is a comparatively economically free nation, the United States also has foreign direct investment net inflows of approximately $354.8 billion, and in terms of net foreign direct investment, it has around $75.7 billion, thus indicating that the United States is an attractive destination for foreign direct investment. And now I'll hand it over to Oleg.
I'm going to talk about the Russian economy. It can be considered as a free market, but high level of corruption can always limit its financial freedom, which makes it harder for businesses to develop and harder to attract foreign investments. And according to Transparency International Corruption Rank, Russia is on the 135th country on the list, which results in GDP of only $1.5 trillion and GDP annual growth rate of 1.55%, which is pretty low compared to other countries, especially developed ones. And also, the reason for that is that Russia is one of the biggest exporters of natural gas, oil, and metals, and the country highly depends on these materials. And the drop of prices can always hurt the economy, which was the case in 2015 when Russia took a hit after it dropped prices of oil. Also, the country scores pretty low on economic freedom ranks, which results in pretty bad foreign direct investments, net inflows on only $28.6 billion, and net foreign direct investments of $10 billion, $10.7 billion.
Thanks, Oleg. And now to briefly look at the 3rd country that the group analyzed, Venezuela. After looking into Venezuela, the group was able to find that the country has heavily managed markets, which oftentimes creates hardships for citizens. This is evidenced by the political unrest as well as the widespread shortages of basic goods which has recently affected Venezuela. And now for a brief rundown of some key financial points about Venezuela. Firstly, its GDP as of 2017 is just over $482 billion. Also, it should be added that as of 2014, Venezuela's GDP was actually shrinking at an annual rate of 3.9%. Furthermore, according to the most recent corruption ranking by Transparency International, Venezuela ranks 169th in corruption, meaning that it currently is one of the most corrupt countries in the world, as shown in the map at the bottom right, where Venezuela on the South American continent is featured in the darkest red color. Furthermore, as shown by the economic freedom rankings from the Fraser Institute and the Heritage Foundation of 162nd and 179th respectively, Venezuela is by no means an economically free country. Finally, Venezuela's negative amount of net inflows from foreign direct investment in the amount of around $68 million and its total net foreign direct investment, which is also negative, indicates that Venezuela at the moment is not an extremely attractive place for foreign direct investment, possibly due to its low amounts of economic freedom and political instability. The group also felt that by analyzing 3 countries, it was able to gain a deeper understanding of the impacts of economic freedom. Specifically, the group was able to see a relationship between the 2 variables of economic freedom and well-being. Also, the group was able to come to the conclusion that there most likely is a link, probably a causative link, between the 2 variables, in that greater levels of economic freedom can lead to higher levels of well-being for citizens. Thus, countries that invest resources into increasing levels of economic freedom will likely see beneficial changes in the future. And here's a list of all the references that our group used for our presentation. And thank you for watching our presentation. Have a nice day.